Welcome back, y'all. This installment of the transcooler install, this is kind of a separate on video, but I'm going to be changing out, pulling the transmission pan, changing out the transmission filter, which is a regular service you should be doing to your automatic transmissions. And I'll be, instead of installing the factory one back, I will be installing this 4x4 pan, which will make draining easier in the future because it has a drain plug, and it's also holds more. I think it holds like a quart or two more fluid, which will aid in cooling of the transmission. This is actually a normal service. You would normally just pull the pan and change out the filter, and of course replace your transmission fluid. So without further ado, let me get you under the truck so I can show you what it takes. With the factory pan, and this is what the case is in a lot of vehicles, there's no drain plug. So which I end up doing, and usually is just messy, is just breaking loose all the bolts that hold the pan on, and then leaving some semi-tight and the lowest angle, loosen it so that the seal breaks and it drains out of one corner, and then you just slowly loosen it further. It's messy, but there's not much you can do about that. As far as it goes, you have pretty much all 10mm bolts, except for a couple, like that's probably a 12. I don't think that's a factory bolt. This truck did have a valve body and torque converter put in, so I think the transmission's been upgraded, but they didn't upgrade the pan and they didn't upgrade the transcooler, which is odd. However, getting back to it, I'm just gonna basically go under there. I'll put it on a time lapse as I go. I'm gonna take my impact and just bust them all loose, and then make a mess, and then I will, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just getting it out, draining it. It's probably once I drain it, I will just turn around and put the new filter, pull the filter out. I'll show you how to do that. Get the new filter in, put the new pan in. I don't know if there's a gasket on this one or if it's RTV'd. If it's RTV'd, I'll just RTV it. Apply new RTV and clean off the old. But I'll show you all that once I get to it. So without further ado, let's get up to the time lapse. Well, apologize, I got started without putting a time lapse on, but that's okay, because all you would have seen was me just taking a big load to the face of transmission fluid.
No! In the face! In the face! No!
Haha. So anyway, I'm just waiting on it to drain some more. What happened is basically what I knew exactly was going to happen. I was loosening the bolts, just breaking them loose, and as soon as I got a certain number of them broke loose, it just decided to drain it all. Not all, but the entire driver's side decided to start coming undone, and I wasn't ready for that. I should have been, but whatever. It's what a little dry is for. So I'm letting it drain out some more. It's going to take quite a while. And while I wait, I'm not going to make y'all wait with me. I will just wait till it's drained out. There's really no magic to it. It's just slowly loosening those to get more fluid to drain out, because the bottom of the pan's still full, obviously, and you don't want to have that full thing balancing. It's going to make another mess. So anyway, let me let it drain out some more and lower it slowly, and I'll be back. Okay, so it's been a while. I'm just letting it drain still, but I've slowly been, as you can see, I'm down to the corner here on this side and the corner on this side. All the other bolts are out basically, and eventually once it kind of stop, I basically, as it's been going, as I hear it stop draining, I'll take a couple bolts out, and I just worked it back like that just to avoid as much of a mess as possible. Once I get to these last two on the sides here, most of it will want to come out. At that point, I'll have to take one hand and hold the pan, what's left, up, and then impact the rest of the bolts out. And yeah, so still got a little bit to go, but it's coming. Once I get that done, that'll be the end of this portion of the video. Or not, it won't, really. I didn't mean that. Once I get that done, I will then get the pan out, drain it, move it out the way, take the, get the factory, or the filter that's in there out, put the new filter in, bolt up the new pan. Depending if it's got a gasket, then I'll just reuse the gasket. If not, I will RTV the new pan and go from there. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, y'all. So the pan is out. It does have a gasket, so I will reuse that. There's the filter. I'm not really trying to get that all. This is gonna, I can't do this one-handed, so let me try to set y'all down. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, this one should just. Oh crap! Here we go. There's just fluid everywhere. That's what oil dry's for. Or kitty litter, whichever you prefer. So that just comes out. Alright, so this is the new filter. It just goes in. There we go. Right, like that. A little bit loose, but that's okay. All right. So you get the new pan. And I'm gonna try and get this started with y'all so you can see it before I move the. New gasket, or the gasket. Get over. Of course, it didn't want to cooperate. And I'm gonna need a couple bolts. Of course, I dropped the bolt, but that's okay. It ain't going nowhere. Trick is lining that gasket up and getting everything situated while holding the pan up, which the pan is, it's not heavy, but it ain't light either. Okay, find that bolt. And there you have it, okay? Let me, I'll come back here in a second. Get a couple of them started, and then I'll put it on a time lapse so you don't have to hear the impact going, because I'm just going to run them up with the impact. All right. Okay. All right, so if you were tackling changing your transmission fluid and your filter, all you'd have left to do is refill the transmission fluid. On a Lightning, right here, just need a narrow funnel to get in there in the dipstick hole. That'll work. Anyway, yeah. That's going to conclude this video. My next segment on this project will be taking the old trans cooler out, mounting up the new one, and hopefully getting it done. And I might also include putting it all back together at that point. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so if you needed to know how to change a transmission filter and fluid, that's how you do it. Of course, you just got to add to. And that's one project down. As you can see, made quite a mess. They always do when they don't have drain plugs. Give a drain plug, it's a lot easier. But anyway, until next time, I'll be back.